Welcome everybody to Division Kings podcast episode 6. I'm your host Sam, the owner of Division Kings, and I'm here with absolutely nobody doing a solo podcast. Unfortunately, I did have a guest lined up, a kind of co-host, but just didn't align, couldn't get on in time, so here I am doing a solo one. Said to myself that I'll do these every single week regardless of situation, circumstances, so here I am. This is episode 6. What we're going to do today is just a little bit different, obviously with no co-host, no guest online. We're just going to go through a couple of questions. I've actually used my good old friend ChatGPT to throw up 20 questions to me. I've not actually read them yet, so I'm completely in the blind on this. Hopefully AI hasn't done me over, but I'm going to find out. But I'm going to go through the questions. I'm going to explain. I did ask it to, give me a gist of what Division Kings is and what we're trying to do in 2026, to ask me some questions about that and also what happened in the past. So let's start with that and we'll go from there. So the first question is, why did you decide to do a solo episode instead of forcing a guest this time? So he's already put me in a deep end there because I explained to him what happened, but that's cool. You can't trust AI all the time. So pretty much I had one of our co-hosts penciled in, as you would say. It wasn't completely secured, but I kind of thought we'd do one. It's cool. We didn't. We're going to do one next week with the same guy. So just going to do a solo one. Keep the content coming every single week, and go from there. There's going to be a lot of awkward pauses because I'm not very good at this, and it's my first time doing it. So we'll see what happens. Question number 2. For someone hearing about Division Kings for the first time, how would you explain what it actually is? Fair question. So Division Kings is an esports company, right? It's so we first established ourselves in 2022, and what I mean by we is myself. I am solo, but I have been bringing a few friends on board as we go along. Started in 2022. Was in development probably in my head for maybe 10 years or so, but on paper, building the website myself and getting everything going probably took maybe 2 years or so as I was learning, website building at the time. So Division Kings was built probably from 2020, launched in 2022, and we're an esports community, establishment, company, business, whatever you want to call us. We pretty much want to host consistent tournaments at the highest levels, the lowest levels, and the medium levels. So we want to cater for, your weekend warriors like myself. I've got commitments, so I can only get on so much, and other gamers that love to play competitively but aren't very good. And also we want to play on the big leagues as well. We want to play competitively. In terms of ourselves, we haven't got a team. We haven't closed ourselves off to that. There is an option of doing that in the future. But right now, we are doing podcasts. So this right now, to build our base back up again. So we launched in 2022. We were getting a good following on Apex Legends, and we also trialed a game on Fortnite as well, which was actually really successful. And we started building a little bit of community, Discord and YouTube, Facebook, and on our website as well. But my partner and I had a second kid. We got married. We moved house. There was a lot of distractions away from what Division Kings could have went to, which unfortunately just took priority. So we moved away from Division Kings for a year or two, and now I'm back. I do this every single year. I'll spin it back up at the end of the year, like, yep, Division Kings is going to make it this year. This time, I'm hoping it's different. We've already got 2 podcasts in the last week, which is a huge achievement, obviously with this one involved as well. That's why I decided to jump in and just do a solo, because it's good to get our name out there, get our brand out there, and keep the consistent vibe going, pretty much. Probably not the right word, but so I didn't really answer the question, did I? I just went on about a lot of shit, but that's what Division Kings is. Right now we're dormant, and we are coming back alive. We've had a year or 2 off. My plan right now is to get the podcast going, and just keep building that community, get some more attention to the website again and what Division Kings is, and then we're hoping maybe by March, April, we're gonna launch a couple of tournaments. Still not sure what game on yet, but we'll see. So moving on. When did the idea for Division Kings first come about? Okay, so Maybe I'm obviously from the UK, as you can tell by my accent. I'm not Australian. I've lived in Australia for nearly 10, well, nine and a bit years now. Call Australia my home. I have obviously my wife and my kids here. So Division Kings first came about when I was actually a sweaty teenager in the UK. I used to play COD 4 competitively, pretty good. Wasn't making money at the time. Made a little bit. Well, I'd say a little bit, like £50 or something off a few winning tournaments. Used to play game battles a lot. If anyone knows what that is, big in the UK and America and stuff like that. And I just loved the esports community. I loved the banter, the shit talk, and the when you get a team together that truly bonds and does well. And then also solo games as well. Like, solos used to scare the shit out of me, but I used to love playing competitively, and that's where Division Kings came from. I always thought I had the potential to run like something like that myself. Got a lot of ideas in this little brain of mine, so I wanted to kind of get it out there and not just be a participator but be a creator as well. And that's where Division Kings came from, and a lot of it was accelerated when I came to Australia. Obviously, straight away, my wife bought me an Xbox 360, I think it was then, and I got back into gaming again, and I just noticed a bit of a gap in Australia, New Zealand, Oceanias in general compared to Europe and UK for what gaming is, and that's where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna got this idea, Division Kings. For some reason, it was always in my head, Division Kings. I don't know what it was, but it just was. And I started to take that idea out of my head, put it on paper, and we're here today. We launched, like I said, in 2022. It's been bumpy, of course it has, but I'm hoping 2026 is good for Division Kings. We'll see. Okay, next question. So what problem in the ANZ? He's put ANZ. I think he means Oceania. He's put ANZ, Australia, New Zealand. But yeah, anyway, esports scene were you trying to solve at the start? So for me, it was to bring the community together. It was to build a website. For those that have been on a website, we have a social part where you can create an account for free. Obviously, it's a social media account, so you can post on your wall, you can message friends, you can make groups, and that's what I want Division Kings to be a place where not just your Discords and your Facebooks and all that kind of stuff, but an actual gaming website that brought everything together. It had tournaments, it had podcasts, it had your social media, your divisions as well, which is the bigger picture of what Division Kings is. That's what I wanted Division Kings to be. I wanted to be an all-rounder in an individual kind of community, right? I wanted everyone to be able to go to Division Kings and go, okay, we can communicate on here, we can join tournaments on here, we can do scrims and practice matches on here too. So that's the problem that I saw in the Oceania community. We were lacking that a little bit, and we still are. I think we still are. I think if you look at South Korea, Japan, the States, even England, and the UK, I should say, Europe itself, the gaming communities that they hold. Look at the tournaments they hold in, America a lot of the time, and they're huge, and they're these multi-million, probably billion, I don't know, dollar companies, ideas, industries, and we just don't have that in Australia. What I know about Australians, what I've learned in the 9 and a bit years I lived here, is they are extremely competitive people, like probably too far. So that's even more fuel for the fire. That's what we've got here. We've got the people that want to game, want to compete competitively, massively, aggressively, but we don't have the basis there. So that's what Division Kings hopefully will be. So next question: why did you intentionally avoid building just another clan, team, or esports? To bring something different. I think the world is evolving in our generation. I'm 30, so I'm luckily just out of that generation that expects too much. I think we are looking for more than just one avenue now. I think we're looking for all-rounders. I think I've got obviously my own career elsewhere as well. That's the same. It's aiming for an all-rounder rather than just individuals that can attend to certain things. So that's why I didn't want to just go with a team. I didn't want to just build tournaments or just have separate podcasts. I want it all to come together because I believe that with togetherness, the brand will succeed. And we offer so many little things to so many people, and I think it brings people back, you know. So that's why we wanted to put it all together. Next question is, what games or scenes did you originally focus on and why? So straight away, we went into Apex Legends. Why? Because that's the game I was playing at the time, and there was opportunity there to build Division Kings into Apex, and I think for those that are aware, when you host private games for Apex, when you get the code from the dev team and everything, you have so much visibility over a tournament, right? You have a spectator mode where you can see the map of every single team, and you can go through every single team individually, every single player, and you know it's so interactive for tournaments. It shows you a scoreboard of every single team. It's an awesome system that they got set up on Apex for this particular target. So that's why we went to Apex. It was easy. It was such a fun game at the time. I've gone off Apex at the moment. I'm on Battlefield 6 at the moment, which is, I can't seem to play enough of it during my downtime. So we haven't done anything on that yet. But yeah, Apex was the first one. Fortnite was my next target. Fortnite was a hard one because there was so much potential there to grow as a business and a community on Fortnite, but I can't play the game. I'm shocking at it. I don't enjoy playing it. But there's such a big community there and it's so popular. So we also targeted Fortnite as well as a secondary to Apex. But yeah, Apex was number one to begin with. Gonna have a drink. Cheers. Sponsored by... Nah, not really. Good banter and bad banter, that's what we bring. Next question is, what were some of the first signs that Division Kings was actually working? I'd say feedback. I'd say on our Discord channel, the numbers went boom straight away. The podcast was, increasing as well. It was, don't get me wrong, it wasn't hundreds and thousands, but it was, the first one was like 10, second one was like 17. It's like, oh shit, like we're onto something here. I don't know, maybe I was like 60 times the amount of times I listened to the podcast, but there was signs of growth there from the beginning. And the way my mind works is I like to see, like green little ticks of something evolving or numbers going up and up and up and up. And I think everyone in that same kind of space likes to see that. And that's what I saw to begin with. And, the feedback from some of the teams and players that were involved in our tournaments was that they haven't seen anything like this before. Even though, there's organisers out there, there's 100% there is, but in the care that we gave to the people got participating, our communication as well. I'm huge on communication. People need to know where, when, why, how. I don't hold any of that information from people. I don't hide things. I'm very transparent as a person and as an owner of Division Kings. And I think people enjoyed that. I think they saw that there was a bigger picture for Division Kings. So I think that there was some of the early signs for sure. Our next question. So, what early wins or milestones are you most proud of? I'd say on Twitch, we streamed one of our tournaments. I can't remember if it was the first or second. This was years ago now, obviously. But we streamed one of them, and straight away we were in double figures for views, and that was huge. I'd never streamed before on Twitch. I was expecting 0 followers, 0 viewers at the time. Within a couple of minutes of the stream start, and we had I don't know, it was like 15 or 16. It's obviously terrible numbers, but it was awesome. It was wow. It was like, okay, people are watching. Like shit. Now we have to talk, and now we have to go through the emotions because. I wasn't expecting that to happen, and same with the podcast. The numbers were increasing. Just getting a podcast out there on Spotify, that was cool to see. Like, you think those kind of things are restricted to certain individuals and companies and businesses, but just to be able to make something like that work, yeah, it was definitely a proud moment. Alrighty, bit of hydration. Next question. So never mind. What surprises you most about how the community responded? Um, kind of touched on that, but I'd say, you expect shit talking. You expect banter in ways in this community, and when you host these kind of tournaments, you expect the assholes of the world to come out pretty much. But I think we hit the nail on the head with the people that we brought in, and we were picky about the teams that we brought into probably from our second tournament onwards. First one was a free for all because we couldn't, we were starting off, so you accept whatever you can. But the second, third, fourth tournament that we did, we could pick who was coming in, and we made sure that positive people were coming in. There was no people causing dramas, no hackers. From what I'm aware, it seemed like a very fair tournaments that we had. But just how much people got on board. The registrations got to, I think, roughly 200 odd or 300 odd. I could be miles off, but that's what I think the number was. Just to see people get on board with something that was new was refreshing to see, because people don't see the work that you put in the background, and it's not for them to see. It's for myself and people that build stuff to see. That's where we get that milestones and proudnessness of proudnessness. And when the community respond that way, when they truly get on board with what you've created and they see the vision, and obviously I had a few people come into the inner circle of Division Kings as well, and those guys really got on board, and it's cool to see that, because then you've created something that works, and something that people truly enjoy. So that surprised me, so it was good. It's good to see. Okay, at its peak, what did Division Kings look like day to day? Look, day to day was still when I first launched Division Kings, I was working FIFO, so I was doing an 8 and 6 roster. When Division Kings was launched, and it was 12-hour days. When it was truly going, there was probably a month or two there that we had a couple of tournaments. We started one of the podcasts, and the social media was, I was trying to get active in that. So probably every single day, I would be active on my phone, during breaks, before work, after work, during downtime. I'd be on my phone, I'd be on social media, I wouldn't be on my personal Facebook, I'd be on Division Kings, I'd be on Instagram, Twitter, X, Discord. I'd be active, and that's what I think is important and was important then. Was just answering people, even just going on Twitch and jumping in people's streams and going, hey, blah blah blah, just communicating to people. I think that's what Division Kings was. I was quite lucky that I would spend maybe a day on the weekend, maybe 6 hours on a weekend, when I had time. When I was 8 and 6, I would sit there and pre-plan all the posts for Facebook and Instagram, where you can schedule them all in. So I was doing that so that when I went to work, when I flew to work, I didn't have to worry about doing all that at night time, because obviously 12 and a half hour days, and then by the time you've had some food, rang your wife and all that stuff, you haven't got that time to do this. So I was planning everything for work, and then like I said, just being active. So that's what it looked like day to day. And when I was home, when one of the kids were, I had one kid at the time, when they were at daycare or just home, then obviously I'd get on when I could. But that's what it looked like day to day. I'm expecting that to change a little bit in 2026 if it kicks off the way I want it to. But we just adapt, and we do what we need to do. Alrighty, next section. Oh, we're halfway through. 18 minutes, shit. It's amazing how much you can talk when it's just you and ChatGPT. Alright, so what started... Let me try that again. What started to make running Division Kings harder than you expected? Oh, ChatGPT's digging into my life here. Look at this. I'd say the fact that it was getting busy, which sounds ridiculous because that's what I wanted. But I'd say that. I'd say my son, obviously, he was born in 2022. When I first launched, great planning by me, I know. And there was just a few difficulties that came up between myself, my partner, and my kid. I won't go into detail too much, but it needed to take my attention away. And Division Kings was getting very needy, very attended to me. It needed my time pretty much, so I couldn't give it. That's ultimately why it sunk. Probably the end of 2022. That's probably, yeah. It was just more demanding than what I expected in a time that I wasn't expecting other things in my life to. And that sounds stupid because my son was born. I knew it was coming, obviously, but I thought I could handle it. Turns out I couldn't. With everything that went on, my career, Division Kings, it was just too much, and I had to be smart about where I was heading. My career obviously pays for everything that I've got. Division Kings was costing me money, not a lot of money because the way I built it, but it was costing me money and time that I just didn't have. So I think, yeah, the requirement for time was hard, and that's ultimately why it didn't work. Alrighty, why do you think so many esports projects, especially in, it's used ANZ again, Oceania, go quiet or disappear? Oh, that's a good one. I'd say the same reason Division Kings disappeared. I'd say with obviously my time required somewhere else, and it does take a bit of money to get it going. Especially if you don't build websites or social medias yourself. I was lucky that I have developed that skill, and the even like the what's this called, the promotion side of things. Like if you're paying someone to do that, it'll get expensive pretty quick, and it becomes a bit of a money pit if you don't plan it properly, and that's what we were getting to. I'm not too sure if I asked this a bit further down, but we'll jump in there anyway. And when I launched the next series of what Division Kings was, which was Divisions, that's ultimately where we fell down, because I went from all these free to play tournaments and offering a cash prize, which is obviously taken out of my pocket. I wasn't being recuperated anyway in the website or through entry fees to the tournaments. It started draining the bank balance a little bit, obviously, for what I put aside for Division Kings, and then with a kid on board, the savings as much kind of disappeared. So the money ran dry, and then on top of that, the divisions part was where I started going, okay, you need to pay to jump in these tournaments. Looking back on it, it was way too early, but I thought at the time it was ready to go, and I had a reason to try and get some money into Division Kings to keep it going pretty much. But I think that's where unrealistic expectations come into this question, and in terms of why so many esports projects disappear, is we expect it to be cash, boom, okay, cool, now I can quit my job, now I can do this full time. Doesn't work that way unless you find some sort of recipe that is one in a million. It is out there. I'm a big believer in you find what you seek, and you put in the work, and I know one day this is going to pay off. It's not a project that's going to pay off straight away, and it hasn't. Obviously, like I said, it's been in my head for over 10 years. It's been in development since 6 years ago. It's not something that's going to make money like that. So I think unrealistic expectations is where it kills companies like mine, because it never works the way you want it to. And even with it went busier than what I thought it was going to begin with. Obviously the money side, financial side didn't quieten down, and that's kind of where I think they fall down. I think financial backing and time. You underestimate how much time you have to put into this. Once it launches, I kind of thought, okay, I've got everything built, we're in a good position, and we're going to launch, and it's going to just be a little bit ticking over. No way, it's not like that at all. It's consistent. It's okay, I need you for this many hours a day. I can't give you that. Well, shit, it's going to fall behind. And I think that's where, if you had endless money, endless time, and you could sit here at your computer and do 8 hours a day for Division Kings, it'd be swimming. It'd be amazing, but it doesn't work that way. And you got to build it slowly and gradually. And that's what I'm coming into this year with. I'm not thrown straight into it. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to try to build a community. And I think that's what, if I was to say to other projects starting at the same time as me, or, in the past, I'd say do it the same way. Don't expect that it's going to be an overnight sensation, because even if you get the people on board, financially it's not. So I think that's where other businesses fail. Anyway, I need a drink. 25. All right. I don't think this will go longer than 15 minutes, but let's keep going. All right. So, was there a moment you realised Division Kings needed to pause or change? Division Kings, no. My job as owner of Division Kings, yes. So, Division Kings needed to keep going the way it was going. I think even with the failure of the Apex League that I tried to launch, I could have went straight back to tournaments and carried on building. But I didn't because of my personal life. So Division Kings, I think, didn't need a pause. Um, I don't think it needed a change. I think the leagues was the next step. It was on top of tournaments, right? So it was the tournaments were still going to keep going. But even though the league was going to take most of the time up, I still wanted to host some tournaments throughout that because it was only going to be, I think it was like 2 games a weekend that I planned for the league. That was the pay to enter tournament that didn't work, and um, yeah, that wasn't a replacement of the tournament. So I think no, I think no to that answer. I don't think anything in terms of Division Kings needed a pause or change. I think it was going very well. Like I said, personal circumstances just took priority. So, how do you personally deal with the feeling of stepping back from something you built? Oh shit, Jesus, that's a good question. Um, wow, okay. How do you personally deal with the feeling of stepping back? Um, to begin with, I was disappointed. Um, wouldn't say I went into a full meltdown, but I've been through a fair bit of shit in my personal life. So personally, I know and I knew that it wasn't the end. So I think that for me probably subdued some of the emotions of okay, Division Kings failed. I knew it was always going to come back in because my mind is fucked that way. I jumped from thing to thing, but I knew Division Kings was going to come back alive, and I've launched it every single year, and it's not fully came back to life yet, but it's just simmering. It's simmering, and that's what I wanted from Division Kings. For a time in my life where I can spend a bit more time with it. I'll be honest with you, that is not now, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm getting older. It's something that I'm so passionate about, and when you are passionate about something like that, you just need to go with it, and that's kind of where that feeling back then, what it's asking me about personally dealing with it. It was look for what went on in my personal life with my son and my wife as well. There was no time for personal emotions about this, so it wasn't. Yeah, good question, ChatGPT. You nearly got me there, but it was it was needed. And like I said, it wasn't. I didn't stab Division Kings. I didn't say okay, you're gone. It was just okay. You're going to take a little bit of a backseat for now. We're going to come back to you. So yeah, good question. Though. Good question. Oh, the title for that was reality check. Oh, need a drink after that one. Well played. Oh, all right. What mistakes did you make early on? Fucking hell, I read that like a fucking 3-year-old. What mistakes did you make early on that you wouldn't repeat today? Expectations. Um, like I said before, I expected too much. I expected it to take over my wage like that, and it didn't, and it won't. It will never will. So now I know that's not going to happen. I'm going to be careful with the money that I throw at it. Last time I threw a fair bit of money at it, and it paid off. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, the community started building, but I got into the position where I ran out of the money to throw at it. So I don't want to make that expectation of people getting involved that it's going to be here's a big prize fund. It's $500 every time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that's one thing I've learned from last. There's a million, but I'll leave it at that one because there's still a few questions left. What did Division Kings teach you about sustainability and esports? I'd say that there's always a rebound and there's always a potential for a rebound. And talking about sustainability, if I would have persisted with the tournaments for a long time, even with the personal shit going on, I think Division Kings would have still gradually grown. I don't think it would have exploded the way I planned for it to explode, but I think it would have ran itself in terms of very minimal output for me. But what it taught me is that there's always a chance to come back to it. Same with teams. You join a team, you might have some fallouts, like a clan per se. You might have some fallouts, and you might not agree on some things or go on some different games for a while, but you always have that connection back with the esports community. Those that have been in good teams understand what I'm talking about. I could not play with someone for a year or two that I play with regularly, and we just carry on playing like nothing happened. So that's where esports is cool, because the sustainability levels are very high. You can pick it up, just like I'm with Division Kings now. It's been sitting dormant for a couple of years, and it's no one cares. No one cares. It's if I bring it back online now, no one's going to go, oh shit, but those guys failed in 2022. No one cares about that, and that's what esports is all about. And bear in mind what it was now to 4 years ago. There's a whole different esports community out there that are probably going to jump on board. So yes, don't ever stress about that, because that sustainability is probably one of the most beneficial things in esports. All right, how has your mindset as a founder changed since the start in Division Kings? How has your mindset as a founder changed since starting Division Kings? I'd say that's a good question. Let me have a drink. Let me think about that. I had a drink and I've got nothing. How has your mindset as a founder changed? How's it changed? It hasn't. I don't know. Has it? God damn it. ChatGPT's throwing some curveballs. I don't think it's changed. I honestly don't think it's changed. I think I knew what to expect. Like I said, people got on board quicker than what I thought, and I didn't make money like I thought. But the mindset stays the same. I think it's got to. I think it's if I want Division Kings to succeed, I think I've got to go back to that mindset that I had, and I have, that when we launched in 2022 that we're going to take over Oceania Esports. I think that's the mindset that we've kept for the last 4 years, even when it's been dormant and nothing's been done for 6 months. I haven't even logged into my locals. I mean, this time around I had to reset all my passwords and everything. It was a fucking nightmare. But mindset doesn't change. I think I'm still here. I know what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. So I don't think it changes at all. But good question. Made me think about that one. What is Division Kings now, and what is it not anymore? Division Kings now is a dormant. What's the word when they call, like Newcastle United? They always call them sleeping giants. There we go. Division Kings, I believe, in my head, is a sleeping giant. Doesn't look like it on the outside, I know, trust me. But that's what Division Kings is right now. It's sleeping. It's dormant. It's got all this potential, but it's not been evolved into the world yet. It's not been released. So that's what Division Kings is right now. It's rebuilding. It's building a community. It's going to take a while. What is it not anymore? It's not a virgin. I think it's not new anymore. It's 2022. It was new. It was exciting and new. Right now, it's exciting and revived. I think it's not new, if that makes sense. That's pretty much all I got for that one. Alrighty. Second to last question, and we're done. Why are you focusing on Apex Legends and the Oceania region going forward? So I'm not. I've moved from Apex to Battlefield personally in terms of what I play. Am I going to focus on Apex Legends? I don't know. There's been a lot of changes on Apex since I started Division Kings. I don't particularly like how it's gone. I haven't played it for probably 2 months now. I don't know. Am I going to focus on Apex? I haven't made that decision yet. Right now, I'm just going to build a community. I'm going to build the podcasts, get the website going again. I still need to update some pages. Still need to reset some passwords. Don't know who I'm going to focus on, where I'm going to focus on. Oceania, it's always going to be Oceania. It's eventually we'll go international, 100% we will, because that's, you have to. But my main focus for the next 5 to 10 years is Oceania. We need to get Oceania up, and that's where my focus is going to be. All right, last but not least, hope it's a good one, chat. What does success for Division Kings actually look like in 2026? That is a good one, and I thought about it plenty of times in my head. Oh shit, there's more questions. I'm not going to answer them unless they're good. What does success for Division Kings actually look like in 2026? Oh, I think to increase the community following, to get the faith back, to reignite old friendships and partnerships that we had. Obviously launch some tournaments, obviously get some full tournaments going and some really good coverage. Podcasts, I want to make a massive focus on podcasts in 2026. That's my goal. We're in January the 4th today. I've read that like an American. January the 4th. The 1st to the 4th. Sorry, that's just my mind. So podcasts. Let's go back to podcasts. That's what 2026 is going to look like for me. Consistently, every week, regardless if I have to do this and you have to listen to my bro and ass voice just to make sure we're putting it out, then that's what we're going to do. Obviously, I want to interview people. I want to bring people on from all walks of life. So if you're listening to this and you actually want to be on the podcast, hit me up and we'll put a plan together. I generally do them every weekend, once a weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I'm Perth, so whatever time works. Podcast 2026 for Division Kings. I want to gain a good following. I'm not going to put a number on that, to be honest with you. I think that would lead to unrealistic expectations. I just think being consistent, honestly, I think that's where the success for Division Kings looks like. Just be consistent, put the work in, get to where we need to do with the podcast. I want to get the website. The website will be done in a couple of weeks, won't be too hard. Tournaments, I do, like I said, March, April. That's when I would like to start tournaments. If I do or not, I'll see. But that's ideally what I would like to do for tournament side of things. And then divisions, which is the main thing of what Division Kings is that's based on a 20 teams during like the English Premier League, or I don't really know much about AFL, even though I've been here for 9 years, but a league-based system where you've got every weekend you've got 2 games, because it's esports, you can afford to play 2 games against everyone else on that ladder. You play everyone twice, and at the end of the year, at the end of that season, I think I worked it out, it's maybe every 3 months, you played everyone twice, you've got a winner. Simple as that. That's what Division Kings is going to be. Like I said, that's what I tried to launch. I think I've got like 4 or 5 teams signed up, so that sucked. But again, I've got to revisit that. I've got to look at the structure of what I put together. It obviously didn't work. Why didn't it work? What happened? And how do I make it work? So that's what I'm going to sit down and look at right now. Podcast, social media presence, building the community, building the what's the word? Don't know. Just getting a following. So that's what 2026 looks like. So what? Yeah, I'm not going to worry about those questions. So yeah, so that was it. That was episode 6. Pretty much, like I said, went solo. My co-host unfortunately couldn't make it, so we'll revisit that next week. Hopefully I can get him on and we can do some questions and listen to someone else's voice, not just mine. But yeah, so look, if anyone wants to reach out, social media wise, Division Kings, pretty straightforward. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I've got a Discord going as well. That's part of my project. I've got to get going, revive that. I keep forgetting the camera's up there. I keep looking at chat because we're broskies like that. If you want to reach out to us, please do. If you want to be on this podcast, please jump in. Like I said, it's minimal at the moment. It's we're building it up. It's going onto YouTube. I've got to get my Spotify account going again. Then it'll be back onto there. And then look, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have managed to listen to 39 or 40 minutes of me chatting shit, then I really appreciate that. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. You've listened to the Vision Kings, and have a good week.